Hello and welcome to the Ugly Side of Beauty Part 2. If you didn't see Part 1 yesterday, be sure to check it out. I'll link below. And if you have some ugly beauty stories, leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. So, it's crazy that there's this much ugly about beauty, but there is. So, today, I'm going to start out talking a little bit about Drunk Elephant. And for quite some time, I've heard things about them online, and I had my own experience with them, which wasn't the best, but I thought it was a one-off. Basically, Drunk Elephant has a tendency to be very rude, condescending to customers' concerns, customers' emails, customers' tweets. My one issue I had with them was several years ago. I emailed them about the vitamin C serum and why it was so dark orange, and they basically told me I didn't know what I was talking about. So I thought, okay, well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about according to them. However, I've heard that is a common occurrence with them, basically to tell the customer that they don't know what they're talking about. It's not a great way to handle customer relations. In general, I feel like at least hearing out the customer is a good way to go. And then maybe looking inside and seeing if there is an issue, because if so many people are talking about the same issue, maybe there is a problem. There is an issue with their vitamin C serum. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but something with it has changed. It is oxidizing quickly. I will not spend my money on it ever again. But it was an interesting way to handle a customer concern. It was just basically telling them, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up. Don't write to me again. Okay. They've done the same thing online, on Twitter, being very condescending to people's comments. There's lots of instances of it. And I know I've talked to many subscribers that have had issues with Drunk Elephant customer service. And for some time, I could put it in the back of my head and keep it there and still use their products. However, the more and more I read about them, it really makes me not want to use them anymore. And at this point, I'm thinking about that. So it certainly has upset me reading more and more of these things as I was getting ready for this video. I just found so many examples of them just being low, being petty. Obviously, the brand is now owned by, I believe, Shiseido, I think? Shiseido bought them, I believe, for like $895 million or something. So they also, interestingly, got in a little bit of a tiff. They have apparently people online that are employees that are posing as customers, responding to people's comments. They bash other brands. One very common, I'll post a link to it, was their correspondence with somebody talking about Glossier and some of their products and calling their products, saying that they were trying to copy Drunk Elephant, and it was basically someone that was saying that they were just a normal person, and then apparently they responded with the Drunk Elephant official Instagram account accidentally, and then continued the correspondence even though it wasn't the same person that the comment was from originally. It was kind of an oops moment for them. I'm sure they're like, because I think they deleted it, but there's screenshots of it now where basically it was meant to look like a real person, and then it comes out that it was a Drunk Elephant employee that was bashing Glossier but trying to look like a normal customer. There's just a lot of instances of them doing things like that. And it's just disappointing. There's a lot of different, so definitely leave a comment with your Drunk Elephant story, but all these things that they've been doing, bashing other companies, having people pose as Drunk Elephant fans when they're really employees, it's really gross and really sneaky, underhanded, and just, you think some brands would be above things like this. In general, you think the beauty world would be above things like this, but there's so many instances of things like this. But especially a brand like this, which was really initially beloved and now not so much. So I feel like there's, I think they had some employees that worked for Paula's Choice initially. I think there's some connection there, but I don't have any official account of that. But that's what I've heard. So there's some connection there between reviews there and Drunk Elephant. So I don't know. But that's just what I've heard. And I've heard enough to make me, in my mind, think Drunk Elephant isn't a great brand to financially support with my hard-earned money. I'd rather support a brand that does good things instead of bashing people, bashing brands. Okay, another ugly side of beauty. Bliss specifically, and any other brand that sells anti-cellulite products. Bliss was a big one. They came out with their serum called Fat Girl Slim. Most of these just contain caffeine, which can temporarily, very temporarily, reduce the appearance of cellulite by constricting blood vessels and things like that. But that doesn't last more than a few minutes. You can't get skinny by applying a lotion, and brands that do this, it's a money grab. It's playing on people's insecurities. You're better off spending that money on, I don't know, going for a walk and not spending it at all. You can't apply a product and get anti-cellulite. Get rid of cellulite, whatever. So Bliss, the fact that they did this was kind of disgusting. I'm not sure if they still sell it or not. I should have looked, but any brand that sells anti-cellulite products, don't buy them because they're typically like expensive because they're playing on your insecurity. Don't buy it. I think that's just ugly all the way around. So you're better off saving your money and going for a walk or buying a treadmill. And you know what? Sometimes you can't exercise off cellulite. You just can't. It's kind of genetic. So it's ugly that brands really play to people's insecurities over and over again. But I guess some brands do. Okay. Another very ugly side of beauty is brands that greenwash, clean beauty. There's no real definition for any of this. What one person thinks is clean beauty might be different to another person. Some people think vegan is clean. To some people, clean is something totally different. No chemicals, but everything's a chemical. And this one is another thing that plays towards people's fears. Not so much insecurities, but fears of getting sick from products, getting things like cancer. And so there's a lot of brands that really play on this. Goop is a huge one. Their products are terrible, expensive. Don't buy them. And then they tell you things like chemicals are bad, or if a product has an ingredient that you can't read the name of, which is like every product for me. You can't say the name of or pronounce it. It's not good for you. That's a bunch of crap. It makes no sense. There's a lot of brands that greenwash. Goop is obviously one of them. RMS is another one. Tata Harper is another one. There's so many of them I could have listed this whole page worth, but those are three of the bigger ones. And typically a lot of these clean beauty products aren't very good for your skin because they have tons of fragrances, essential oils. They might not have chemicals, but everything's a chemical. That's what I don't understand. How can they say chemicals are bad? Every single thing is a chemical. I don't know. So don't buy into it. Don't be afraid. Most things that in skincare products have been researched and tested for years. Obviously, there's not a ton of oversight, but generally, unless you're buying things that are counterfeit, everything's mostly very safe. Unless you're buying things that are counterfeited, or a lot of counterfeited products contain bad things. But greenwashing, the way they play to people's fears is horrible, and they shouldn't do it, and it's immoral. And it's a money grab again. We come back to money. They want to make money, and by playing to people's fears, they can sell a moisturizer for $80, or a Goop, they can sell a peel for $125. I don't understand it, but people do get scared. They don't want to be sick. They don't want to get things, and brands play to that. Okay, another ugly side of beauty is the brand. They used to be called Truly Organic. They're now called Truly because they're not organic. They're actually sued, and they lost. Customers sued because they're not organic. Actually, worse than not being organic, the products Truly Organic was selling were actually just overstock products that they simply repackaged, relabeled, and then marked up the price like 500%. So not only were they not organic, it was just like overstock products. So they lost a huge lawsuit. So now they're Truly because they're not organic at all. And even more terrible behind that is for a brief time, they had a beauty box that some people subscribed to. And they were really charging people repeatedly and not delivering any beauty boxes. So not only were they not organic, they're ripping people off that way, but they're also ripping people off with this fake beauty box thing that was a big scam. So I can't believe this company is still out. They're now called Truly. They're at Ulta. I can't believe they still exist. They must have a lot of money behind them, or have made a lot of money, because that class action lawsuit was like, they lost like $2 million, but they're still out there. So obviously they made a lot of money. But don't buy them because it's just overstock crap that they make pretty and put sparkles in. And anyway, I bought a few of their products before I knew they were all a total scam, but won't buy anything from them ever again. But their section Ulta keeps getting bigger. And every time I go in and it's bigger, I'm more and more annoyed, but whatever. Nothing I can do about it. And even, I'm getting more and more red the more and more angry I get. And there's even, you know, I could have made 3, maybe I will make more videos of this, but the ugly side of beauty, we've got Purito, Keep Cool. They're a fun little lawsuit threatening civil and criminal lawsuit. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't say anything bad about us, even though our sunscreen's fake. Then we've got Jeffree Star, what he said, Shane Dawson, what he said, Sunday Riley, the fake review scandal, Kat Von D, and all the things she said. I do find it interesting that Kat Von D is not out, she's out of that company now, but it's still called KVD. Why did they keep the initials? I mean, the only thing I think about is negative things when I see those initials. Jaclyn Hill with some of her scandals. I could have went on, but I wanted to make it concise, few points. And obviously, I could talk for hours about the Purito sunscreen, the Keep Cool, we're going to sue people. But I wanted to be concise and talk about a few points. But if you want me to do another one of these and talk more about all these other ones, I definitely will. So, anyway, that is part 2 of The Ugly Side of Beauty. If you want a part 3, I'll do a part 3. So leave a comment. Or if you have your own ugly story, leave it below. And maybe I'll mention it in the part 3. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I'll be less red when you see me tomorrow. Okay, thank you guys. Bye-bye.